I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my creative healing course is filled with hours of exclusive content. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about get your ex back the right way. You know, Margaret, I have realized that we get a lot of newcomers coming to the channel.
Yes, we do.
All the time. People that are recently getting into a breakup.
Right.
And they start to search things like, how do I get my ex back? How do I get my ex back in the right way? What's the right way to get my ex back?
Yep.
So I thought it would be helpful to do a video for people that might be new to our channel. So
Great idea.
If you're new to our channel, you know, this is some of the basic stuff that we help you guys understand about a breakup. Margaret and I have been in the field for many, many years.
We should add up the number of years sometime between us.
Margaret, how long have you been a social worker? About 40 years, right?
About 40 years.
And I have been a therapist for about 20 years at this point.
So we can add it up to 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should know something.
Yeah, we do know a couple of things. And so, you know, we talk about that because many of you don't know what our background is. I'm a mental health counselor. She is a licensed social worker.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for probably about 20 years now.
Yes,
close
I think
to.
so. I think so.
And we work together in agencies locally together. And then we started this together. I told her she was behind the scenes of when I started the channel all those
Yes,
years ago.
I was.
And now we have Coach Victoria on board who's been learning with us, and she will eventually do coaching.
Yes, she will, and she'll be wonderful.
So we want to talk about getting your ex back the right way because there's a lot of bad information on the internet.
Absolutely.
And we know when you're going through a breakup, you can get very desperate.
Yeah.
Okay? People will do things like love spells.
Right, we have heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You know, they get so desperate that they will buy a love spell thinking that's going to help get your
Right.
ex back.
When you're desperate, though, you'll try anything.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
It's tunnel vision, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's tunnel vision. When you're desperate and feel up against it, your view of the world narrows down to just one thing. It's tunnel vision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I think very tied to a depression.
Yes.
That you get in that
Absolutely.
state.
Yeah. Right.
And so you may find yourself, you know, looking for magic beans to get your ex back essentially, but that's really not the way you want to go about this. So we're going to talk about some of these major points today. And the first one is don't try to manipulate your ex and stop trying to force your own agenda.
And that happens very often, very soon, very quickly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of the other information out there about breakups is centered around manipulating your ex
Yeah.
with some BS magical text that gets your ex back, or handwritten letter, or grand gesture. And in my experience, it very, very rarely works.
Right.
Right? I
Right.
mean, if something like that happens to work, I think it was only because your ex was really reconsidering it anyway.
Right.
Right?
There is no magic formula, and I think sometimes when people call us, they hope we have one, but we don't. It's not magic.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we're teaching you and the psychology and the understanding of mental health that's directly related to attachment and relationships working is absolutely the real stuff of how to make a relationship work and how to really repair things with your ex. So you
Right.
can have a real shot at repairing
Yes.
it and
Yes.
having a healthy relationship again. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there about manipulation. And using guilt, pressuring your ex is a big one. trying to get other family members involved or friends involved. I was guilty of that.
Right.
You
But
try-
it always backfires.
Yeah, it makes it worse.
It always backfires. And there's always somebody who's willing to get in the middle and give everybody advice.
Yeah, and I can tell you when I did it backfired for me. It often just pisses your ex off.
Yes.
Right? It makes him really angry at you. Begging, whether you may realize it or not, is just a form of manipulation.
Yes, it is. It's a different form.
Right?
How pathetic do I have to look, right?
That you think that if you beg for that extra chance, I mean, I have heard very, very few cases over the years of begging actually working.
Me too.
It often turns your partner off. So these are all manipulation strategies that you want to get away from. Guilt, pressure, getting other people involved, trying to beg, and just simply ignoring the needs of your partner
Right.
in what they're trying to tell you.
Right.
Right? That's huge. So you got to be careful of doing those things. Of course, some of that is to be expected in the beginning, especially the begging and trying to talk person out of
When you're
it.
shocked, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. Right there is when you're
shocked.
shocked. So it's okay to do some of that in the beginning, but and don't beat yourself up if you did, because most people do those things. I was guilty of some of those things. I tried a grand gesture.
And lots of people who call us say, I already tried all the things you guys said not to do.
Yeah.
Did they work? No.
No. So, what you really want to do is give that person space and freedom to make their own decision, which is very, very difficult, which comes along with the second major point I want to say here, is let them reach out to you.
Right.
The way that I have explained no contact and the way that I teach it is simply not to reach out to your ex. Some people have some convoluted strategies or situations where you should ignore them if they reach out to you or play games with them. I don't believe in that. I don't think you're going to have something healthy again if you're playing those kind of games.
Right. Games are not healthy. Games are manipulations.
So, your ex made the decision to get in the relationship with you, and if they decide that they want to get out, you want to respect that decision, as painful as it may be, but you want them to have that space and time to feel your absence.
And you're being respectful by giving them what they asked for.
But believe it or not, you want to give your ex the space to miss you, right? A lot of times people will continually reach out to their ex, or maybe they'll try 30 days at a time, right? I'll leave them alone for 30 days and reach out. Well, they ignored it, so I'll try in another 30 days. Or, using the good reminder text. That's another form of manipulation.
The good reminder text reminding them of what a good time we had at the beach that day.
Yeah, I just drove by the beach
Yeah.
that we went and you went to. Do you remember when the bird pooped on your head? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Some silly reminder of what happened. And it sounds like a nice idea. I understand when you're going through a breakup, it's like, that sounds like a good idea. That does sound provoking. Yeah. And then you should hear all the people that are like, I tried it. What happened? Usually the response?
Didn't work.
Nothing. They didn't respond to it.
Let me just say another word about manipulation. One of the reasons why manipulation is a wrong thing is that by definition, manipulation means you're trying to get somebody to do something without directly asking them, to do what you want or to even tell them what you want.
Yeah.
Okay? It's dishonest. That's the problem.
Yeah. And many of you probably grew up in a home where your mother used a lot of guilt.
Or your dad.
Yeah. But I could say I grew up in a home where my mom used guilt.
Uh-huh.
The Italian guilt.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
They're famous for that.
Yep.
And so you may unconsciously be doing the same thing that's been done to you your entire life, and you don't even realize why it's such a turnoff.
Again, just let me comment one more time. You lived with the Italian guilt. I lived with the Irish martyrdom. God knows I'll be okay. Don't worry about me.
Yeah. And so when you're reaching out, trying these strategies, like a good reminder text or a handwritten letter, it just allows your ex to know that you're still wanting them, and it doesn't really get them to grieve the loss of you.
Right.
Because how can they grieve your loss if they don't feel a loss?
That's right. And if they're talking to 3 of your relatives and 2 of your friends, they can find out how you're doing anytime. Not helpful.
So when you're reaching out, it also takes away the curiosity of what you've been doing or if you've moved on, which people really want to know. Like,
That's the first thing people want to know. It's been 2 weeks. Do you think he or she has moved on?
And so if your ex sees that you're continually reaching out, they're not going to wonder if you've moved on.
Right.
Right? It takes away that mystery for them.
Yes.
Okay, another big issue, another big way to make sure that you're going to get your ex back the right way is to fix your own issues.
Right.
We all have our own issues. We all have things in our childhood that were traumatizing or difficult, and we have these blind spots within us that we don't see things about ourselves.
Absolutely.
And many of you, when you come to the channel, you see that what we're all about is healthy relationships, learning skills, being the best version of yourself, so you either have an opportunity to blow your ex away or you're doing great in your new relationships. And that way it's a win-win, and you're not so focused on, just your ex.
Right.
And I get success stories almost every day about, well, maybe I didn't get my ex back, but I found this new person and they made me really happy. And thank you for all the growth and all this.
Right, we do get those, and those are wonderful to hear.
Yeah, they're just as good as getting your ex back.
Right.
I know it doesn't feel like that now.
No, not at the beginning.
And I totally understand because I've been there. But believe me, if you find somebody new that's amazing for you, and you look at your ex like, why was I tolerating these things? Or, that relationship was toxic, or maybe it was even abusive. You're going to be so happy with the people that you come across that are healthier for you.
Yes.
So working through your own issues, we have hundreds of videos on understanding attachment styles, mental health. The workbooks are all centered around it. The course is centered around it. We're all about bettering your life after a breakup.
Right.
Right? Another big area, and the last one we wanted to touch on today, is that you have to realize that there are areas that you can improve. And oftentimes, you're so shell-shocked that your ex left you that you can't even realize that.
Right.
You can't think about,
Right.
what did I do wrong? Or what did I do in this relationship that may have ultimately led to, the connection being hurt, or trust being, hurt,
Right.
or the other issues that have come up. But now you have an opportunity to reprioritize yourself. And I think that when you're going through a breakup, it really gets you to reevaluate what's important to you and prioritize.
Absolutely, and that's a healthy thing to do.
I mean, you talked to somebody today that I did a coaching with a few weeks ago that realized they were addicted to video games.
Yes, he did. And to his credit, he's working about as hard as anybody could. Absolutely.
Yeah, but when you're in that mode,
Yeah.
you don't realize he was addicted to video games for years.
Yes. And when it looks like everything is okay and your partner is still there, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you have some time to realize, oh my gosh, the last 3 girlfriends I've had have said I don't listen. What's going on with me? I haven't been listening to my partner.
Right.
And then you realize, I've got to fix this. How are you going to do it? What are you going to do differently? You've got to really reflect on that and improve in those areas, Maybe you could look at ways you could be more social in your life. Maybe you have only spent your time with that one person and neglected your friends or family or other areas of your life.
Absolutely. Maybe it's the other way around. You continued with your friends and kind of neglected your partner. All possibilities can happen.
Another big thing that you could look at is, what am I doing that I'm satisfied with my life? Take an inventory. Where am I satisfied in my life? Where am I not satisfied in my life?
And don't just beat yourself up. Look for what's going right and what your strengths are. And then you can decide what changes you may like to make. That's a good point, to reevaluate what you want and your values and so forth and so on. Yeah.
You might want to use this as a time to take some risks and use those opportunities to grow and learn new things that maybe you haven't been willing to do before. You know, a lot of times people take a look at things and are like, you know, I've thought about going back to school for years.
Right.
I wasn't motivated enough to do it.
Yep.
Now I'm getting in school. I'm focused on a career or a business
Yep.
or something like that. But, you know, it's understandable that you probably aren't going to feel very motivated, especially in the beginning.
Not in the beginning, because it's going to take all your energy to try and deal with this shock to your system.
Yep.
Yeah.
But even if you can do something small, it can be meaningful to you.
Absolutely, and it can encourage you to move further.
A new hobby,
Yeah.
or just trying something new. I remember that when the Applebee's girl broke up with me, I wanted to learn a couple of dishes and learning how to cook a few different
Yes.
meals.
Yes.
And so I had my mom teach me to cook some meals that I didn't know how to do, and that made me feel good. I mean, it
course.
was not a huge thing, but I still remember what those 2 meals were off the top of my head.
Absolutely.
The 2 main ones that I asked her to help me with. Different routines can be helpful. Maybe you realize, you know, you stay up too late on the phone and you don't have a good healthy sleep routine.
Yep.
Or exercise or eating routine. All of those are little things that can make you feel better and focus on becoming a healthier version of yourself. So when your ex either comes back or you start dating other people, you're going to look a lot more attractive.
Absolutely, right. And don't forget to be nice to yourself. We're so well programmed to beat ourselves up.
Yep.
And people tell us they go over every phrase, every word they ever said, wondering which was the one that put their partner off. And it's probably not just one phrase at all. But find your strengths too.
Yep. Absolutely. Because when you start doing these things, people are going to notice.
Yep.
Your friends are going to notice. Your family is going to notice. They're going to be happy with seeing you do something positive, because I really think there's nothing more motivating than a breakup.
Right.
And I know it's been, you know, the times in my life where I was absolutely laser focused on the personal growth and bettering myself.
Absolutely.
And so use this as an opportunity, because I promise you, very few of your exes will do as much work as the dumpee is. Right? The dumper is very rarely motivated like the dumpee is.
Right. Because they've been in control and the dumpee hasn't been. And the dumpee is going to say, I don't want this to ever happen to me or anybody else again.
Yep. So use that to your advantage, knowing that whatever's going on in your ex's life, the motivation that you do, if you're really consistently making an effort, even if it's just a little bit every day, is probably going to be far more than they do a couple months down the road, 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, whatever it is. You know?
Absolutely.
Because exes do come back all the time. And, you know, sometimes even after years.
Absolutely. And I'll hear, I haven't heard from them for 3 weeks. I know it's over. Oh, it could be 3 months, 3 years. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In fact, I heard from somebody recently that I hadn't heard from in about 2.5 years.
You did. Yes, you did.
So, and it was interesting, Margaret and I talked about it. And, you know, there was probably more to it than what was on the surface.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
it shows you that people come back all the time. Just stay focused on yourself and being the best version of yourself, and it's a win-win either way. And those are some strategies to make sure you're going to get your ex back the right way. And of course, we're here for coaching. And if you want to get our help personally, all you have to do is go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the option that you prefer. I do email coaching and I do Skype, and Margaret does Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful to you, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.